Hello, I'm Gabriel, the leader of the Awakening of the Chosen, and I'm here to speak directly to you, the Chosen One. You're not here by coincidence. There's a higher calling pulling you toward a deeper truth. In today's video, I'll reveal powerful insights that will sharpen your spiritual discernment, uncover hidden lies, and guide you to walk confidently in God's light. But here's the key. What I'll share will only unlock its full potential if you stay until the very end. It's in the final moments that the ultimate revelation will be unveiled. So, stay with me, because your awakening as a chosen one begins right now. As we go more into the concept of detecting falsehoods, I want you to evaluate not just the words said, but also the energy that surround them. Words have weight and force, but the motive behind them shows the genuine substance. When we come across promises and words that seem appealing at first look, we must turn to our internal compass, the divine knowledge that exists inside each of us. This compass is adjusted by our religion, and it is this faith that guides us across muddy seas where truth and falsehoods might seem indistinguishable. In the midst of the world's cacophony, spiritual discernment shines like a beacon, lighting our way with clarity that only the Spirit of God can provide. It is critical to approach these circumstances with an open mind and heart, ready to listen not just to what is said, but also to what is not. The Holy Spirit supplies us with more than just hints. It gives us clear vision and a thorough knowledge of circumstances that may seem complicated at first look. This kind of spiritual awareness may be seen as a gift, something to nurture and treasure, since it allows us to discriminate between what is true and what is not. This talent is not just a protection mechanism, but also a tremendous instrument for strengthening our bonds with God and others around us. As you begin your road of discernment, keep in mind that nothing occurs by coincidence. Every interaction, every experience presents a chance for spiritual development. When we encounter uncertainty, it's crucial to remember that we have a tremendous friend on our side, God, who leads us through all of life's challenges. By seeking His direction, we enable ourselves to receive His truth and unconditional love, which changes us from the inside out. In a world where deception might seem commonplace, heavenly clarity stands out as a testament to God's power and grace, helping us to see past the surface and reach the real core of things. Practicing spiritual discernment allows us to put greater faith in our instincts, which are often drowned out by outward uncertainty. This assurance is not a shield against vulnerability, but rather an opportunity to use it wisely. When we expose ourselves to divine knowledge, we remove the veils that hide the truth, allowing us to see through eyes lighted by divine love and justice. This restored perspective sets us free from the bonds of falsehood, enabling us to move with confidence and conviction. The promises of this world may be alluring, but only God's promises provide genuine satisfaction. When we put our confidence in God, we build a strong foundation that cannot be rocked by illusions or hollow words. God's truth is unchanging and everlasting, and when we align ourselves with it, we become a part of it. This gives us the courage to confront any difficulty and the awareness to understand the importance of authenticity in daily encounters. As we dig further into this spiritual practice, we find a tranquility that beyond our comprehension, a heavenly gift that helps us to stay peaceful and focused even in the face of turmoil. This tranquility is a manifestation of God's love working in our lives, confirming that we are on the right track, always supported by the divine presence. By adopting this viewpoint, we become change agents, capable of improving our own and others' lives via the infectious force of truth. Finally, the goal of spiritual discernment is to find the reality of who we are in God, not only to identify falsehoods. It is the rediscovering of our divine nature, the beauty found in being truthful, true, and entire in all of our encounters. This enables us to live completely and share the same love and truth with others, resulting in an unbreakable circle of compassion and honesty that extends throughout the globe. On this journey, we are never alone. We go together, led by our Creator's light and infinite wisdom. 𖣔READ, whose name means light of the Lord, experienced a difficult road among disappointment and exploitation. Throughout his childhood, he was subjected to a barrage of falsehoods and hollow promises, which put his spirit and self-esteem to the test. However, it is exactly through these obstacles that we learn the extent of our own strengths, and 𖣔READ was no exception. His tale starts in a boyhood defined by false expectations, in which innocence was sometimes mistaken with ignorance to the true motives of people. 𖣔READ, a trader in Canaan, was well known for his charity. This wonderful feature became his most abused flaw. 𖣔READ's emotional wounds started to appear when �LIKA, a trader with evil motives, invaded her life. �LIKA acquired 𖣔READ's confidence by promising affluence and commercial success. �LIKA, on the other hand, was waiting for the ideal opportunity to commit treachery behind her kind grin. This is the chapter in which 𖣔READ's kindness faces its most severe hardship. 𖣔READ was painfully deceived, as is frequently the case when we give ourselves up too much to the world. �LIKA vanished, taking with her not just 𖣔READ's worldly goods, but also a portion of her mental comfort. A tremendous blow that devastated �READ, both materially and spiritually. The damage was immense, but as divine light teaches us, every darkness provides a chance to find genuine clarity from a different viewpoint. Within the sadness, something extraordinary started to emerge. �READ, recalling her grandfather's wise words, sought to seek a deeper relationship with the divine. Your grandpa always believed that the most difficult times are opportunities to really submit to God and seek discoveries that transcend beyond appearances. It was ancient knowledge manifested in actual life, demonstrating that the eyes of the heart may be more dependable than surface perception. It was no longer simply about regaining worldly possessions, but also about achieving spiritual serenity in the face of outward losses. This encounter was more than simply a watershed moment. It marked the beginning of a true and deep shift. 𖣔READ started to feel an unfathomable serenity, something that could only be defined as a gracious gift from the Holy Spirit, a peace that surpasses human comprehension and flourishes in the midst of adversity. With his heart opened to spiritual truth, he discovered what many seek: insight that goes beyond masks and the tales presented by others around him. 𖣔READ had been betrayed, but when he surrendered to God, he realized he was not completely lost. He realized that the solutions were not in what had been taken away, but in what remained inside his essence. 𖣔READ's plea for comprehension represented not just a desire for salvation, but also the capacity to see clearly in an uncertain world. His prayers grew more in-depth after that, expressing a genuine desire to seek knowledge and wisdom rather than merely worldly desires. This insight comes from reconnecting with your genuine spiritual identity. 𖣔READ's trip teaches us all a vital lesson. Even when we are surrounded by falsehoods and deceit, we may uncover the light of truth inside ourselves through faith and knowledge that goes beyond what the eye can perceive. Turning grief into a source of learning and spiritual development is a heavenly gift, and Neria exemplified this. By finding brightness in the midst of darkness, he not only found tranquility, but also reconnected with his true purpose. Neria's narrative inspires us to consider our own issues and seek the clarity that only those who are fully associated with the divine essence can accomplish. When we trust God and honestly seek His direction, we acquire the vision required to discern the truth and traverse life with fresh confidence and strength. Neria, in the aftermath of a horrific betrayal, starts on a journey of tremendous rejuvenation. When everything appeared to be falling apart, he found solace in divine direction, which served as a lighthouse, pointing him to a life rebuilt on more solid foundations. In this new phase, it was run by a young merchant called Jam, who came across as a breath of fresh air. Jam, with his impeccable behavior and obvious honesty, symbolizes not just a friendship, but also a mirror, reflecting Neria's yearning for a real and truthful existence. This conversation informed Neria, possibly in a divinely choreographed manner, that falling into falsehoods is not the conclusion, but rather the beginning of a long-term learning about the truth. Jam's presence in Neria's life was critical in developing a vital skill, the capacity to detect minor differences in other people's actions. This awakening was more than simply a personal shift. It was a realignment with the divine will. Neria's thinking was honed by unpleasant experience, and he became more perceptive, seeing deceit where he had before seen true friendship. The spiritual discernment he developed did not protect him from obstacles, but rather provided him with the means to confront them with confidence and trust. On his journey of self-discovery, prayer and thought have become regular companions, assisting him in navigating the complexity of the world around him, constantly seeking more knowledge and purpose. The improbable occurred at that time. Elijah returned to the community, ushering in a new chapter for Neria. Facing someone who had wronged him so profoundly might have been shattering, but this time, Neria was ready. With his heart fortified by the truth and knowledge that had grown in his spirit, he stood up and approached Elijah without fear or hesitation. Neria revealed Elijah's falsehoods before the once blindly believing community, exposing the reality behind the fake motives. This act of bravery was more than just a personal success. It was a manifestation of the heavenly light that Neria had nurtured inside her, a tremendous testament to the reality that truth always triumphs over lies. Neria's struggles proved to be more than just hardships. They were spiritual forging processes that revealed his secret knowledge. With each challenge, it became evident that these were, in reality, God-given chances to acquire acute spiritual discernment. Neria's experience carries a compelling message of hope and persistence. We learn that shadows simply bring forth the light, and that trials mold and prepare us for our ultimate purpose. Neria's narrative is an intricate tapestry of faith, change, and discovery. It serves as a reminder that, regardless of exterior circumstances, we may rely on God's spiritual power. With this power, we may overcome the constraints imposed by deceptions and illusions, achieving clarity and purpose. Each obstacle overcome, each truth found, helps to shape a character that more fully represents the divine spirit. Neria's journey not only provided her with a new life, but also served as a lighthouse for all of us, indicating that with God as our guide, we have all of the skills we need to live a life of truth and integrity. Neria asks us, in a personal and respectful manner, to embrace the quest for divine discernment in our own lives. As we go along this spiritual road, we are encouraged to see that our trials and sufferings have the ability to be transformed into great instruments for development and enlightenment. 𖣔READ's story urges us to look thoroughly on our own tales, indicating that behind each difficulty conquered, there is important learning waiting to be discovered. In this stimulating environment, we are encouraged to share our tales and experiences. Each real interaction develops the spiritual links that bind us together. By sharing stories of deceit and manipulation, we not only expose our weaknesses, but also celebrate the communal power that comes from shared faith. These stories become living testaments to perseverance and optimism, pillars that support our community's spiritual journey. By telling our tales, we create a circle of support that connects with the souls around us. This act of sharing is a brave gesture, providing solace to those who listen while also comforting those who speak. We realize that, even in the midst of life's storms, we are never really alone, since God walks beside us, supporting and safeguarding. We sincerely believe that God does not allow us to confront the falsehoods and illusions we meet on our own. Each tale presented here serves as a powerful reminder of God's caring and protecting presence in our lives. These shared experiences not only inspire us, but they also strengthen our faith in God's promise of enlightenment and protection. We become one other's protectors, buoyed by the knowledge that divine truth is always accessible to those who seek it with sincerity. The chapter concludes with a compelling call to action. It encourages us to include discernment prayer into our everyday routines, using it as a mantra to ground us in reality and direct us along the right path. This spiritual commitment, repeated with each new day, is a personal profession of faith that reinforces our desire to live in the clear light of God's revealed truth. In doing so, we not only improve our own lives, but also illuminate the road for others who follow us, resulting in a dynamic community of faith and resilience. Accepting this invitation to prayer and everyday thought allows us to develop a stronger relationship with the divine. The courage to handle the complexity of daily life comes from this precious gap between speech and soul. The daily practice of prayer as a personal mantra becomes a strong anchor that keeps us anchored even when the world around us seems unclear. As we seek discernment on a daily basis, we create a spiritual presence that is as necessary as breathing. It feeds our soul and prepares us to face obstacles with clarity and compassion. This exercise encourages us to match our thoughts and actions with our heart's actual goals. As we integrate this divine direction into our lives, we realize that discernment is more than a talent to be learned. It is a life path to pursue. Every action we make based on spiritual truth is a step closer to attaining our bigger destiny. Each honest prayer opens the door to fresh opportunities for development and inner change. As we journey along this enlightened road, our community is inspired and strengthened by seeing the transformational power of religion in action. This dynamic of mutual support and the sharing of personal stories reminds us of the long-term influence we may have on one another's lives. We become mirrors, reflecting God's light, not just to ourselves, but also to others around us. It serves as a reminder that every one of us may contribute to making the world a more caring and compassionate place. As a spiritual seeking community, we recognize the necessity of living with integrity and purpose more than ever before. The communal practice of truth and discernment not only enriches us as individuals, but also contributes to the formation of a more aware and enlightened society. We create innovative approaches to transcend differences and establish bridges of genuine and respectful connection, all driven by a common vision of peace and understanding. Commitment to this constant spiritual journey turns us into ever-changing pilgrims who are always willing to learn and develop. Every hardship we confront is a chance to expand our awareness of universal love and oneness. In our pursuit of divine truth, we become change agents, not just in our own lives, but also in the world around us. As a fervent community of faith and resilience, we embrace the transformative power of spiritual discernment, walking side by side toward a future of greater light and love. In this chapter, we are called to integrate spiritual truths into our daily lives, anchoring us in divine guidance as we face any adversity. 𖣔READ's tale is a strong reminder that even when things seem beyond our control, God remains sovereign. In times of uncertainty, it's easy to feel alone or powerless, yet God's continual presence serves as an unshakable foundation that carries us through life's storms. The tale of the wheat and weeds reminds us about the need of discernment and patience. It might be difficult to discern between real and fake intentions. Often, the truth does not emerge quickly. We are used to the world's quick rhythms, where everything occurs in an instant, while spirituality pulls us to a different pace. The greatest truths are revealed in God's time, prompting us to put our confidence in His bigger purpose. This belief necessitates unwavering faith in divine wisdom, while also expanding our knowledge that everything has a time and place. As we wait for the truth to emerge, our role is clear. Increase our faith and continue to seek insight. This is an invitation to engage in spiritual practices, such as prayer and Bible study. The Bible, with its everlasting lessons, provides knowledge and guidance for us, acting as a shield against the world's illusions and falsehoods. Cultivating a deep connection with God allows us to differentiate between the transitory and the everlasting, and we may walk fearlessly in the light of His truth. This connection is more than just a ritual. It is an ongoing and fulfilling conversation with the divine. Every obstacle we endure is a blessing in disguise, an opportunity to develop spiritually and become more aligned with God's objectives. When we look at adversities in this light, we see that they are not hurdles, but rather stepping stones to spiritual progress and insight. Seeing obstacles as part of a larger divine plan changes our perspective, helping us to live with calm certainty. This understanding is aided by the strength of our religious community. We establish a circle of support by sharing our experiences and thoughts, strengthening each other. Leaving comments and communicating with others is a real expression of our dedication to mutual progress. Our words of encouragement and testimony benefit not only ourselves, but also others around us. Throughout this voyage, we collaboratively reflect on 𖣔READ and our own lives, imagining a future in which truth and discernment are central to our activities. As we spend each day steeped in spiritual truths, we help to create a world guided by faith and trust, and our shared journey creates a beautiful tapestry of faith, hope, and divine love. As we dive further into 𖣔READ's story, we are asked to consider her exceptional capacity to transmute terrible circumstances into practical and spiritual understanding. We all make errors or have concerns that put our spirits to the test. Yet these experiences may serve as spurs for greater discernment and a stronger commitment to our religion. 𖣔READ demonstrates that even after experiencing severe wounds caused by lies and dishonesty, we may emerge stronger and wiser if we learn to truly trust God. Her journey from victim to mentor in her community demonstrates how we may utilize our own experiences to help and support others. 𝖣READ's testimony serves as a source of hope and motivation. He reminds us that surrendering to spiritual direction and allowing faith to direct our actions may broaden our hearts and enrich our lives with meaning and insight. This learned knowledge is not a luxury held for a select few, but rather a route open to all of us who are prepared to listen and learn from all situations. By sharing her lessons, 𝖣READ not only increases her personal faith, but also sparks a wave of optimism and progress in her community, inspiring others to follow in her footsteps of contemplation and spiritual inquiry. The chapter provides helpful spiritual activities that we may use into our everyday lives to gain the same insight. Meditating on Scripture ties us to God's live words and teachings, offering a firm foundation during times of doubt or uncertainty. Continual discernment prayer keeps us grounded in the divine presence, enabling the light to guide our judgments. Practicing inner stillness allows us to hear God's voice, a calm, continual presence that is easily drowned out by the world's commotion. These exercises reinforce our resolve to live with integrity by connecting our thoughts and actions with the timeless truths that underpin a life of truth and significance. As we implement these principles, we are asked to be sources of light in our own spheres of influence. Each of us has the capacity to influence others around us by the knowledge and support we provide. Reaching out, sharing stories, and lending a kind shoulder all have enormous transformational force. We can work together to build a resilient and caring community with truth and love, serving as the foundation for all interactions. This community, in turn, serves as a stable and loving environment for all of its members, a place where everyone feels seen, heard, and cherished. Finally, the film concludes with a uniting and powerful prayer, pleading with the Holy Spirit to continue guiding, protecting, and bringing understanding into our hearts. Prayer is a communal reminder that while we strive to live in the light of divine truth, we are never alone. We march on, united by faith and purpose, certain that our spiritual journey will have an influence not just on ourselves, but on everyone we come into contact with. 𝖣READ's transformation reverberates strongly across her community, demonstrating that it is possible to overcome personal challenges and become an unstoppable force for good change. His formerly winding route now opens the way for others to pursue truth, sincerity, and integrity. But it's not just that. He is committed to establishing a forum where individuals can come together to discuss both their problems and their achievements. These sessions become invaluable opportunities for communal learning, with each tale and experience met with profound empathy. The tone is one of thankfulness, since each instruction, no matter how modest, acts as a brick in the foundation of a transparent society. Spiritual progress is not only a possibility in this hallowed place, it is a shared aim pursued with zeal and enthusiasm. 𝖣READ recognizes the necessity of mentoring future generations, seeing in them the opportunity to pass on the knowledge they have gained along the way. By sharing his tales with excitement and candor, he emphasizes the necessity of judgment. It attempts to motivate individuals to discover and align with God's purpose for each of them. His attitude is personal, even parental, and he exemplifies a knowledge that can only be gained by honest and genuine experiences. He demonstrates how religion, paired with an unshakable devotion to the truth, may help anybody face life's most difficult challenges. 𝖣READ's story shines like a light, bringing guests from faraway towns anxious to hear her encouraging words. The influence extends beyond local boundaries, conveying the compelling message that surrendering to divine guidance may result in deep and meaningful change. His life serves as a constant reminder that the legacy he leaves is made up of acts performed in complete devotion to the call that God gave him. Their stories show that this heritage of truth and faith has the power to impact and alter lives far beyond its beginnings. 𖣔READ's legacy not only endures, but grows with time. It is a living testament that grows with each new difficulty and victory, always lighted by the light he discovered in his darkest hour. 𖣔READ's tale is a strong reminder that when we choose to live in meaningful service, we leave an indelible impact on the hearts of people we encounter. This influence, this gift of life, reverberates through generations, guaranteeing that the power of the human spirit, when founded on faith and directed by integrity, is never forgotten. 𖣔READ's spiritual encounter changes her legacy into something lasting and significant. He demonstrates how experiencing faith, as exhibited in every minor attitude, may really transform the trajectory of many people's lives. Every encounter, conversation, and smile exchanged is an expression of heavenly love, shown in physical gestures that touch the soul. The seeds he planted in the heart of his community continue to germinate, creating a culture of mutual support and spiritual development. As 𖣔READ's story resonates across new boundaries, an empathy network emerges, founded on ideals of compassion, honesty, and service to others. This spiritual movement is more than simply a mirror of your own path. It is a wider phenomena that occurs when people come together to support good ideals. This enlarged community becomes a symbol of optimism and spiritual rebirth, serving as a safe haven during times of uncertainty. Participating in this movement is embracing the invitation to live consciously and purposefully, and committing to spreading happiness and inspiration. 𖣔READ's tale demonstrates that any of us may be a transformative agent, regardless of where or how the troubles originated. Everyone has the potential to use their experiences, even the most difficult ones, to become examples of faith, hope, and perseverance. Rather than just being chapters in our life, these experiences serve as the foundation for a new future. According to 𖣔READ's teaching, genuine power comes from recognizing our capacity and deciding to act on it. Furthermore, by encouraging others to follow this road of self-discovery and divine connection, 𖣔READ demonstrates that our spiritual insight is a gift that becomes stronger when shared. He sees the value in continual development via sharing and communion, and recognizes that life is a collaborative dance toward truth. Everyone has the ability to change and make an influence. When we commit to lighting our own paths, we unleash a tsunami of change that has the potential to engage and alter a whole generation. 𖣔READ's legacy encourages everyone to ponder, question, and seek. We are urged to consider how we want our own tales to be told and the legacy we want to leave. Inspired by your path, we recognize that genuine influence goes beyond words and is delivered through acts of compassion, sacrifice, and an unshakable commitment to living with purpose. This is the call that 𖣔READ's words evoke, and it continues to inspire fresh tales of hope and change as we go on our own spiritual journey.